Time now to talk business thanks to our partners 2Degrees. Company leaders are starting to worry what it may cost to keep the lights on this winter. It is time for a shake-up in the electricity market. Is it time for a shake-up in the electricity market before businesses go to the wall? BusinessDesk has been across this morning. Garth Bray is with me. Thanks to our partners at 2Degrees. Garth, good morning.
Hey, Ryan.
So let's start with the power, the electricity.
Yeah.
What exactly is, I mean, obviously we had the spike last year, but if you were a big electricity user, what is the worry?
The worry, I guess, is that is there enough supply available when you need it? We saw those businesses that went to the wall, that basically shut down because there was an immediate crunch. And they, unlike most of us sitting at home flicking the lights on and off, are on different kinds of contracts where they pay a much higher spot price, and a lot of that's affected by the availability of gas in the market. We know that there's less gas around, so that's a problem for a lot of businesses. We've been looking at that. There's one particular one we were looking at out in Avondale that's literally facing closure probably September next year unless it can get price sorted for power because the gas is not available to it anymore.
And they've been getting blamed basically for not hedging. Some businesses have been getting blamed for not hedging, right?
Yeah, right. And so some of them are pushing back and saying, well, actually, we think that it's the gentailers, the generators and retailers that are part of this problem. And you've seen, I think, Simon Bridges weigh into the chat this week. The Herald were reporting that this week, saying that we need to shake them up. That's quite a big call. That's the sort of big call that you get to make when you're beating your chest and being paid to say things and you're no longer in a ministerial office, I would say. But it's probably thrown a bit of a spotlight on this kind of stuff. And we saw a bit of this in the RMA stuff that came out yesterday.
Is it going to make, any of what they've announced, has industry said this is actually going to make a difference?
Moves in the right direction, okay? Particularly there's one that came out yesterday from Simon Watt's Energy Minister's office around the National Policy Statement for Renewable Energy Generation, which is like the last time they did one of these things was 15 years ago, and it looks at like how can we make it easier for councils to look at renewables and say push it through. This will be music to the ears of your contacts who were really hosed off and are still hosed off that they couldn't build a massive wind farm down in the South Island, in Southland, although some environmentalists would say that was probably not the right spot. It's a hard balancing act, do you compromise the local values or do you actually get some power coming in?
And there is a lot of NIMBYism, which you can understand, but also a lot of ecological repercussions for our industry. Like, they steal wind, you know what I mean? They genuinely steal wind from other places. So it has an impact on the local environment. What else could we see from the RMA announcement yesterday?
Well, I think that's going to take time, right? That's going to take a lot of time to bed in. So I guess the concern from businesses is what's there to stop some of those companies from sort of milking them in the short term, potentially. There's a lot of talk about this at the moment, and the Energy Authority have come out with one plan. They said there needs to be some sort of a short-term mechanism to price more fairly so that those companies like TY Point and Methanex can do what would you call industrial demand flexibility. That's your jargon phrase for this morning. That's where they basically say, we'll shut shop, we'll sell the power back to you.
Which is what they do now, right?
But it's all kind of ad hoc. They want to get something in place that's fairer and clearer and more transparent so that could be a little bit easier. This, like the RMA stuff yesterday, it's short-term stuff to sort of fill the gap in until they can try and get some long-term plans in place for business.
Picking around the edges. Garth, good to see you as always. Take care. Have a fantastic Friday morning. That is Garth Bray from BusinessDesk. We're talking business every day, thanks to our partners at 2Degrees.